Riker Blitz Vaughn had just done what he was best at. He had knocked out another man inside the big UFC fighting ring. The man was not moving. Blood was dripping from Riker's gloves. His chest went up and down as he breathed hard. The crowd was yelling and clapping loudly. But Riker wasn't done yet. An interviewer walked over and held a microphone in front of Riker's mouth. He was ready to hear the usual stuff fighters say like, "I'm the best," or "Nobody can beat me." But Riker didn't say that. He looked past the mic. He looked at the crowd, at the front row. He stared at one man. It was Jason Statham. Jason was sitting very still, wearing a black hoodie. He had no friends with him. He didn't smile. He didn't look scared. He didn't move. "You've been sitting there all night, movie man," Riker said into the mic as he walked toward the cage wall. The people in the crowd started whispering. Riker kept talking. "You're a purple belt, right? Wing Chun, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? You've been training for years. Big deal." Now the crowd was really listening. "You practice your little spin kicks between putting on makeup. You learn to fight while shooting movie scenes." Some people in the crowd laughed. The cameras all turned toward Jason. "We've seen the transporter man," Riker said. He waved his bloody hand over the mat in the ring. "But this isn't a movie. This is real. This is Vegas. This is a fight." Riker stepped closer to the cage door. "So here's the challenge," he said loudly. "Jason, get in this cage. Show the world if all your training is real." Jason still didn't move. He didn't blink. He didn't frown. Nothing. But the feeling in the arena changed. It got quiet. The cameras zoomed in. The people on TV scrambled to talk about it. Riker thought he was just teasing a movie star. But he didn't know. He was starting something big. The T-Mobile Arena was full. Not one seat was empty. The lights were super bright, shining down on the fighting ring. Cameras showed all the famous people sitting in the front. Athletes, movie stars, internet stars, and legends were there. But no one looked at them. Everyone looked at one man. Jason Statham. He still hadn't said a word. He sat quietly in the front row. His hoodie was still up. His arms rested on the armrest. He wasn't slouching. He wasn't sitting up straight like he was tense. He just sat, like a rock. He hadn't moved when Riker yelled his name. He didn't smile. He didn't roll his eyes. He didn't look away. He just looked forward, watching. Riker Blitz Vaughn, the loud fighter, was still smiling. He loved the noise. He was 27 years old, and he had won 8 fights in a row, all by knocking people out. He danced a lot in the ring. He grinned. He did silly stuff after fights. People loved watching him. He was famous on the internet. Tonight, he had knocked out another opponent. The guy couldn't even make it through 2 rounds. Riker had destroyed him. Now, Riker wanted more. This time, he looked at Jason. The crowd had seen Riker make fun of other fighters before. He would tease them, joke about them, and get attention. But now he was calling out a movie star. That was something new. "That's risky," one of the people talking on TV said. "He's just trying to get more clicks." But Riker wasn't just doing it for fun. He knew who Jason was. And that made it even worse. Riker had once said on a podcast, "Jason's the real deal for a movie guy." He knew everything about Jason. He even said it again in the ring. He's a purple belt under Renzo Gracie. He's done Wing Chun, kickboxing, and karate. He trained with real UFC coaches. He did all his own stunts in the Expendables and Safe. Jason's moves looked perfect. But he never had a real fight. No real matches. No amateur fights. No pro fights. No walking into a real cage. "You trained for 20 years, Riker had said at the press conference, "and still never fought a man trying to rip your face off." This wasn't just a joke anymore. It was personal. Jason was loved by many people. He looked like a fighter. He acted like a fighter in movies. But he never had to bleed for it inside a real fight. Now, Riker wanted to show the world that Jason wasn't a real fighter. That his perfect moves in movies were just for show. Some fans respected Jason for his training. Others just wanted chaos. And chaos had a name. Riker Blitz. Jason didn't move. But he heard everything. Behind him, two young boys whispered, "Dude, he's calling him out. Does Jason even fight for real?" Their dad leaned forward and said, "He does. Just never here." "Why?" "Because some men don't need to prove anything." Riker was now grinning even wider. He loved all the attention. "Come on, Jason," he yelled. "Just one round. Let's see if that black belt of yours can take a punch." The security guards near the front row looked at each other. Jason moved his fingers once. Just once. He tapped his leg. Then he went again. But in that little tap, something changed. The crowd didn't know it yet, but something big was about to happen. Riker grabbed the mic again. He had planned this moment. He was sweaty. His gloves were still bloody. But he smiled as he walked across the cage like it was his stage and the people were there just for him. The crowd was still buzzing from his last knockout. But Riker wasn't done. He pointed at Jason. "You know what bugs me, Frankie?" Riker asked the TV commentator. "Guys like that." The crowd went quiet again. Even the TV people stopped talking. "He's been training since VHS tapes," Riker said. "Purple belt under Renzo Gracie. Wing Chun, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. 20 years of training." He pulled the mic cord behind him like a leash. He was showing off. Trained with legends. Worked with UFC coaches. Learned all the moves. But here's the truth. Riker turned and pointed right at Jason. He's never had one real fight. Not one real cage. Not one round on the clock. His voice got louder. "You're just another actor with a fake tough guy look. You hide behind the movie camera." The crowd started whispering again. Some laughed. "You throw punches on green screens. You do a spin kick after 12 takes. And now people think you're a real fighter." Riker raised the mic like it was a trophy. "Well, guess what, Statham? Let's test your fantasy." The crowd held its breath. "You and me. One round. No scripts. No stunt doubles. Just real fighting." The arena went wild. Some fans screamed. Some booed. Some gasped. Jason didn't move. Riker leaned in again. "You gonna sit there and blink at me? Or are you gonna get in here and show us that your Wing Chun is more than movie magic?" Riker dropped to one knee, arms open wide. "Aren't you the guy who choked out 10 men with a jacket and safe?" he asked, laughing. "Let's see you try that here." He stood back up, smiling big. "I'll make it simple. One punch. One clean shot. Show the world you're more than a camera trick." The cameras turned to Jason again. Still no movement. Still no smile. No anger. Just calm. Very calm. Even Riker stopped smiling for a second. He looked around. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. Some people started chanting softly, "Jason! Jason!" Then it got louder. "Jason! Jason!" Riker raised his hands like a music leader. He laughed. "Let's give your action hero a chance to act tough," he said. He looked at the commentators again. "You see this? This guy has trained for 2 decades. And still never stepped into a real UFC cage." He pointed back at Jason. "You're 10 feet from it. You've done all the training. Said all the right things. But you're still just sitting there." He walked backward toward the cage door. "You're so close. So why not walk in?" Security guards looked nervous now. One whispered into his headset, "He might actually go in." Another guard moved closer to Jason's row, just in case. Because even though Jason hadn't moved, not 1 inch, the whole building could feel it. Something was about to change. Jason was doing something no one saw coming. He was getting ready to fight. For real. Riker held the microphone and gave it a final kiss. "No more edits," he said. "No more movie tricks. No stunt men. Just you and me. If you don't come into this cage tonight, everyone will know. You're just an actor who trained for nothing." Jason stood up. He didn't do it fast. He didn't make it flashy. He just stood in one smooth, calm motion. It felt strong and sure, like a mountain slowly rising. The crowd felt it right away. Everything changed the moment his feet hit the ground. People started screaming. Phones flew into the air. Everyone wanted to film what was about to happen. The fans yelled Jason's name. Others shouted, not believing what they were seeing. Even the security guards moved back without being told. Not because Jason looked angry, but because he suddenly felt so powerful. He didn't look scared. He didn't look proud. He looked like he already knew how this was going to end. Marcus Corin, the man at the commentary table, had been laughing earlier. But now he stopped. He leaned forward, serious. He turned to the crew and raised his hand. "Don't cut to a commercial," he said. He pressed his headset. "Let it roll. Don't stop this." Jason didn't wave to the crowd. He didn't smile. He didn't even look at them. He just walked forward, slow and steady. Each step he took made the ground seem louder. Riker, the loud fighter inside the cage, stopped bouncing for a second. He was still smiling, but his eyes showed something else. He looked nervous. Jason walked to the side of the cage. No music played. No lights changed. This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't a show. It felt old and deep, like something wild was about to happen. The cage door opened. No one said a word. There was no referee inside. No announcer. Just quiet. But the quiet felt bigger than any music could. Riker laughed and said, "Come on, let's see that black belt movie magic." Jason walked in slowly. He took off his hoodie, calm and quiet. No fast moves. No showy tricks. He folded the hoodie and gave it to a crew member who just stood there, shocked. His body didn't look like a superhero's. He didn't puff out his chest. He didn't try to look cool. He just looked strong, like someone who knows how to fight. The fight begins. Jason turned and looked at Riker. He stood in a fighting pose that made the whole crowd go quiet. It wasn't fancy. It was perfect. His knees were bent just a little. His chin tucked. His hands were up, not in fists but open like he was ready for anything. His shoulders were relaxed. He looked ready. More than ready. One commentator said, "I've seen trained fighters move slower than that." The other commentator couldn't even talk. Inside the cage, Riker's bouncing slowed down. He kept smiling, but now he was blinking a lot. Sweat was already on his face, and they hadn't even started. Jason didn't look mad. He didn't even look focused. He looked like someone who was in total control. He gave a small nod. That simple little nod that means, "I'm ready." The cage door locked behind them. The crowd didn't cheer. They all held their breath. Riker charged forward. He came in fast, throwing big, flashy moves. A punch, a spin, a flying knee. But Jason wasn't there. Not really. He had moved just in time, dodging everything. He didn't run. He didn't jump. He just moved. Soft, fast, smooth. Like smoke in the wind. Riker flew past him and had to catch himself. He turned back around, breathing fast already. Jason hadn't even moved much. He was still standing in the same place. His feet stayed still. His hands were up. His eyes locked on Riker. Riker laughed again, trying to stay brave. "What's wrong, Statham? Missing your stunt team?" Jason didn't say anything, but his shoulders leaned forward just a tiny bit. That small move changed everything. Riker saw it too late. Jason stepped in. Riker tried to throw a big punch, but it was too wide, too slow. Jason slid in close right under it, and then, crack! His elbow smashed into Riker's chin. It made a loud sound, like a brick hitting the floor. Riker's head snapped sideways. His legs wobbled. Before anyone could even understand what just happened, Jason hit him again. This time with his knee, right in the middle of Riker's body. It sounded wet and hollow, like hitting a soaked wall. Riker backed away, arm swinging, face twisted in pain. Jason didn't Riker him. He just stood there, watching, waiting. Riker blinked, trying to clear his eyes. Jason tilted his head just a little and said, calm as anything, "Is this real enough for you?" Then he moved again. Jason takes control. Riker was angry now. And embarrassed. He charged again, wild and messy. Another big right hook came at Jason. Jason moved at the perfect time. He stepped in close, again, and crack. Another elbow, hard and fast, hit Riker in the chin again. Spit and sweat flew through the air. Riker's knees bent. He dipped but didn't fall. Jason followed. He drove his knee into Riker's stomach. A horrible sound. Riker gasped, bent over, and tried to hold himself up. Jason grabbed his head gently but firmly. Bam! Another knee, this time to the leg. He wasn't just hurting Riker. He was breaking him down. Riker tried to elbow Jason, but it barely touched him. Jason pushed him back, smooth and strong. Riker stumbled again. He tried to grab the cage, but Jason was already there. Slap! Jason kicked Riker's leg. Smack! A hook hit the side of Riker's head. Riker spun, dizzy. Jason moved to his side, grabbed his neck, and boom! He punched Riker right in the chest, where it really hurts. Riker dropped to one knee, breathing hard, eyes wide. He looked confused, like he didn't understand what just happened. Jason didn't finish him. Not yet. He stepped back and let the crowd see it. Let Riker feel it. The whole arena went quiet again. Then the noise came crashing back. Riker wasn't just losing. He was falling apart. Jason had only said one line. "Is this real enough for you?" And it hit harder than any punch. Riker looked up through sweat and pain. His face was full of anger now, not fear. His pride screamed louder than his body. He roared and ran at Jason again. But Jason moved. Just a little step to the side. He used one hand to guide Riker's rush and the other to go around his neck. Then, in one clean motion, Jason dropped backward, pulling Riker with him. Wham! Riker hit the mat hard. The sound echoed like thunder. The crowd lost it. People jumped up, yelling. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fans screamed, "Guard sweep!" Phones lit up again. Cameras flashed. Jason didn't stop. He slid across Riker's body like water. He grabbed Riker's arm, held down his wrist, and got on top. Riker tried to wiggle out, but Jason had him. Crack! An elbow to Riker's cheek. Crack! Another. This one made blood show up. Crack! A third one, right under Riker's eye. Riker panicked. He twisted and tried to hide. He turned to his side and covered his head. Jason didn't go wild. He moved again, smart and quick. He slid off Riker and backed up, giving him space. Riker crawled to his feet. Barely. His face was red. One eye almost shut. He was breathing loud, his mouth hanging open. The crowd knew it. He was done. But Jason didn't stop just yet. The final blow. Jason moved like lightning. He tricked Riker by faking left. Riker stepped in, swinging one last tired punch. Jason rolled under it, spun, and boom! A spinning back punch hit Riker right in the liver. Riker folded. His face went white. He dropped to both knees. Then to his chest. No sound. No cheers. No music. Just a man gasping on the floor, blinking at the bright lights. He couldn't get up. He didn't have anything left. Jason stood over him. He didn't smile. He didn't raise his fists. He didn't yell. He just looked down. He didn't need to say anything. He had already said everything, without words. The arena didn't move. No one spoke. No one played music. Everyone was trying to understand what they had just seen. Aloud, young UFC star had been completely beaten. Not with fancy tricks. Not with showy moves. But with calm, quiet power. Jason turned around. He walked to the cage door. Slow. Calm. Still breathing steady. He opened it himself. It creaked loudly. No one tried to stop him. He walked down, grabbed his hoodie, and put it on. He didn't look back at Riker. He didn't wave to the crowd. He didn't wait for cheers. He walked out of the cage, out of the lights, out of the noise. Outside the cage, Marcus Corin stood with his hands on the table. He watched Jason walk away and smiled. Never bet against discipline, he said into the mic. Inside the cage, Riker still hadn't moved. He lay on his back, chest rising and falling. The world didn't feel loud to him anymore. It felt far away. He wasn't just hurt. He understood now. There were no words left. Real strength doesn't need to shout. It walks into your space, calm and quiet, and leaves with your pride. Jason didn't come to show off. He came to answer a challenge. He didn't need to talk. He didn't need to show off. Because when someone trains for 20 years in silence, they don't fight to impress. They fight to finish. If you enjoyed this story, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next thrilling adventure or mysterious twist. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.